Welcome. It is Wednesday, May 28th. This is the Recoup Daily Check-in. I am Sid. This is Sweets. We're going to go over what's been shipped, what is shipping next. Sweets, you've been shipping a lot. You want to take it away?
You kick it off first. What's
All right.
been on your side?
Cool. On my end, I am sharing my screen, entire screen. And we are here. All right. So I am working on just more tracking metrics, getting this thing right. I started adding this message reports over time so we can kind of see the messages and segments as they progress.
Per day?
Right now it's set per week, but I'm going to get into it per day next.
I mean, if you hover over one of those points, that point is a day or that point is a week?
That point is a week. Or wait. No, never mind. It's a day now. I just changed that. So yeah, this message is sent that day, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. And then this is like yesterday.
No,
No, 28th.
Yeah, the dates at the bottom are 7 days apart.
Yeah. Well, I'm still working on this. This is
so there's only been 43 messages in the entire past 7 days?
Wait, let me find out. I'll have to query it. I'm not sure. I'm in the middle of figuring out how this works. What else did I do? We did this, which is we can sort by messages sent and segment reports, so we can see who is at the top of the leaderboard of all time. And then we can see, we should be able to see, yeah, who is at the top this week by messages sent. And then
2 of them are artists from Música W3 from Spanish-speaking countries, and one of them's from Hume. So 2 of them's been discovering us from Farcaster, and one of them from physically getting on calls.
Yeah, very cool. I thought it was great that like we had the call and then that they shot up to the top of the list. And then also by month, Carolyn is also at the top now for messages. So the features that we are dropping are increasing. These features mixed with the communication and calls are increasing usage. And so now it just becomes a game of how do we add more features that continue that loop.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. And then I also did this to kind of like identify, where is it? I'm going to start adding like IDs on like, or events on some of these so that we can kind of track what's going on and where and what features, etc. And then lastly, here is the agent tab campaign results that you asked for, which is great.
Go ahead.
So this total campaign reach is a mixture between the 20 emails that I sent, a LinkedIn post that got like 30 impressions and hit 13 members, and an IG story that had 23 views.
So it's not including my posts on Farcaster and Twitter that also had engagement?
Ooh, it is not. So we should add those.
I love the photo that you did. It's pinned on my Farcaster. I posted about it on Farcaster, and Excellencia replied saying this is amazing. I had like 10 artists that directly replied and were like, this is awesome. Where's the link? Because I forgot to include the link below. But it did well. So those numbers are going to be a little bit low then, but keep going through. Website visitors you got from Vercel Analytics?
Yep, website visit. And this is yesterday and today, because some of the people that I emailed at late at night ended up converting today. So I just figured I'd do both days. And then rooms created was 16. And I have not gotten the messages created within those rooms yet. That's the next thing I got to do. But I mean,
That's
it's
a
a
lot of
pretty,
rooms.
yeah, man.
Is
It's a
that
good,
excluding our data, you and me?
yeah, excluding our data.
Wow, 16 new rooms is quite a lot.
Yes. So some things we learned is feature feature campaigns work if they are pretty and done on in time. So yeah, I think next step for that is just using a similar template for all the features when it comes to like the visuals and copy, and then in between features, just figuring out how to drive uh, just more engagement. So like maybe sending a loom to show the feature or a GIF, but just kind of just reinforcing like the feature. Because there's 1,000 fucking features we're launching, and just figuring out how to package them in a way that's digestible and interesting will obviously drive more uh, retention. So that is the next stage. All right. So that's been my day.
Next up, what are you focused on after this?
Next up, I am focused on
After you sleep.
after I sleep. We shipping the new tracking. I'm doing that now. Analyzing the conversions. Oh, and then I have prompt suggestions. That is a ticket that's half done. So I want to ship prompt suggestions because I think that will also continue to increase retention. So ship prompt suggestions, and then once that's done, probably by tomorrow, create a similar feature announcement for the email tool that you just added. And those are
The
mine.
image you did was beautiful. I think that image, personally, that was like 90% of the reason it's doing well. Is that image it's beautiful and it matches other viral things that get a lot of engagement.
Do you have it on you?
The image?
Yeah.
Why do you ask?
Because I want to get your honest feedback on where you think it lacks.
I don't think it lacks at all.
What could be improved, if anything?
In the image?
Yeah.
I
Like
think
to make it more compelling and engaging.
I don't know that I would change anything about it. I literally copied the text that you put, copied the image, and it's one of my more popular posts on Farcaster. People asking where, what's this on? Excellencia says huge. Most people were asking where, and then other people were reacting with emojis.
Fire.
I
Okay, so it got
change any-
attention.
Yeah, 700 views on my Farcaster post. And then 26 likes, 4 recasts, and 6 comments.
Nice. 700 views. Let me write that down, actually. What was the other place you posted?
Twitter.
What was the engagement there? Or the reach?
I think I've also pinned it. I think I have 15 likes, maybe like 1,000 impressions. I have 715 impressions, 16 likes, 5 reposts, and 2 comments. One of these is from Camp Network. These guys keep trying to get me. Are you familiar with Camp? Did you see that raise?
Yeah.
So Camp Network, they keep trying to get me to use their stuff, and they replied to it. So the agents thing, the only person that replied was one of the builders of Camp. So we're getting attention from people building adjacent to us.
Nice.
715 engagements, 16 likes, 5 bookmarks, 5 reposts, 2 comments.
Oh, wow.
One of the comments was mine, so only 1 comment.
Nice. Fuck yeah. All right,
On
cool.
my side, I have been focusing on cleaning up the IG emails. And so the goal, which I will do now, is who's a musician you've been listening to or you've been sharing with Story?
The Lion King.
Do you know the musician of The Lion King?
Wait, let me see. Carmen Twillie.
Carmen Twillie, Cramen Twillie.
Twillie.
Anything different between how I've spelt it and what
Oh,
you're saying?
Nope, that's it.
Name Carmen Twillie and scrape their latest IG posts. So IG posts, scraping posts has been a point where we've lacked. Before this, we were doing segment generation, and it was monolithic. It was very big. It required a whole bunch of steps. It was tightly coupled with other steps. I wanted to disconnect getting the notification about the Apify posts for where we save it into Supabase. Is it the first person?
Yeah.
Cool. And so now when we start scraping on Instagram, the front end is not responsible for saving that. Apify does the scraping, and when Apify finishes, it sends us an API request and says, hey, we finished, here's the dataset ID. And so what I'm doing is on the back end, whenever a scrape finishes, let me walk you through the algorithm while
Yes.
it is going, is we start at the top level in the API for Apify. This is what gets hit whenever a scrape finishes. Apify hits Apify, and it sends us the data. So we parse the data according to a schema. The schema includes user ID, created at, event type, event data, and resource. Resource is the major important thing. That includes the data set, which includes all the data that was just scraped. So we get the data set. So we pull all the data from the data set that Apify gave us. Then we store all those Instagram posts into the database. We upload the profile picture that was scraped to Arweave. We then create a social profile from that Instagram profile. If one already exists, it just updates it with the new follower count, following count, biography, profile URL, profile pic. So it'll update an existing one or create a new social if one has not already been created. We normalize, this was a new step I added today. We had a whole bunch of duplicates in our database of like sound of fractures, Instagram.com/sound of fractures, www.instagram.com/sound of fractures, https://. And so we were enforcing profile URL has to be only one, it has to be unique, but we had duplicates because the uniqueness was getting overwritten by the variations in the URL. And so now we're getting rid of HTTPS, we're getting rid of following things. And so you'll see here on the front end, it's rolling over as well. We no longer include HTTPS. We no longer include anything afterwards. We don't include the www. And so now it has scraped the profile and it's getting the results. And so when the results finish, it's going to hit this API. We normalize that profile URL. Then we pull whatever the profile is. And this is where, so we've now saved all of those posts into Supabase. We then insert the social post, which connects the posts to the social profile. I'm starting to think through if this is long-term needed. I think this is an extra step we eventually want to remove, combining the tables. I don't know that there's ever an instance where you have a post without a social. And so we have two tables, which slows everything down. I think we want to join these into one table to make everything faster, but not big deal right now.
Yeah.
We get all the account socials. So for the social profile, give me all of the accounts. Then for all of the accounts, give me all of the account is the artist ID. And so then give me all of the accounts that have these artist IDs. So now we have a list of all the profiles that have this social profile linked to them. From there, we get all the emails of all those profiles. So any email from anybody that has, in this case, Carmen Twillie, is going to get matched, and we're going to get an array of all the emails. And from there, we send an email to all those people. So if you have Carmen Twilly associated with your profile, you're going to get an email saying, we just scraped your posts. Whether or not you triggered this scrape, I triggered this scrape. And so if you have forgotten about Carmen Twilly since you initially set her up, you're going to get an email, which is going to reactivate you into our system. We then generate the email. I give it a new prompt. You have a new data set. Here's some of the data. I pull out that data to make it easier for the LLM. I made a system prompt. You're a record label service manager for Recoup. Write a beautiful HTML email. The subject, you just got a new Apify data set. Include the link to view the Instagram profile. Your call to action, your goal is to get them to open up the chat link so that they can learn more about the post using Recoup AI. I give an example of how it can give that call to action link. You'll be passed the data. Your goal is to get them to click the link. Don't include anything else. And then that's the final step. It then sends the email, and that's the end of it. So let's see if I got an email. Hopefully I did. Maybe I didn't. It looks like I didn't get an email there. So what I'm doing right now is I'm working on cleaning up the bugs. And when an email doesn't come in like it just did not, I go over to the logs and I filter on /API/Apify. And then I check how far it got into the process. This was 3 minutes ago. And it looks like for this one, we got the results. We got all the results. And it looks like we sent an email. We got a 200 from it. We sent it. Okay, so, and this seems like it's bringing up a bug of, for some reason, resend emails they're not hitting my inbox when it goes to one of my test emails. So it sent the email to one of my test emails, but for some reason, if I had the plus test emails, normally for emails, this would redirect to my inbox, but it seems like in this case, it's not. So I think the easiest lift is in this step of the process, get rid of the plus until the @ and then we just trim it down to the actual email. And then this would have worked if it was there. So showing an example of how it has worked for others. Here's Sound of Fractures. When Sound of Fractures gets new stuff, in this case, it showed the profile picture, it showed their following. We've detected new Instagram activity. In this case, it actually put in the photo from the thumbnails of some of the videos. It includes some of the descriptions, recent posts, it summarizes the posts. And then you get a link which will open up a chat inside of Recoup, which will auto prompt it to tell me about my latest posts. And so that way it starts a convo, and it's a one-click convo. Hold up here is it's not auto syncing the correct artist ID. So assuming they have the active artist, it's going to work. But if they don't, Carmen Twilly, it should still work and it should pull their posts. But there's a breakup there between the email and then the call to action of actually doing it. And then we should be able to get their social posts. Now, this would not have worked yesterday, but now it does work. And so now we do get their social posts. And now it's scraping again. So this is one example. 2 buttons that it usually includes is open up a new link to the call to action to start a chat. And then the other one's viewing them on Instagram. And so this is like social verification for me to be able to see, okay, this is the correct profile. I can go and view. And so if I'm a music record label employee, the 2 places I can go from this email are view the Instagram profile so that I can verify what this email is telling me. Are there actually new posts? Or 2, start a conversation to come back into our system. So that's one example. Broxillion, here's another example. You can see the email format is totally different. It's including photos in here. It's including these like yellow little captions. We still have our call to action button. It actually included 2 here, get AI insights now. And so the AI is automating all of our marketing and the styling, and it's changing it up. We don't have to do A/B testing. It's doing it all for us. And then a final one, Danny Muro. This one, you can see it went to Steph Guerrero, and it went to you, and it went to everybody that's got this artist. It includes photo, totally different style of the email. It's trying to throw in Recoup logos. So maybe I should update the system prompt to say, don't include a Recoup logo, or I give it a link to a Recoup logo so it actually does this. And then the call to action buttons. The text is a little weird. You can't see it with the color of the button too well. Open it up to start a chat and view an Instagram profile. So my weekly goals,
Fuck.
I have two big buckets of weekly goals. One is email client and one is Wave Zero. Wave Zero only applies if I finish email client. On email client, the sub items, I needed to activate the AWS account. That happened at the start of the week. That's in the past. Email receipt response. So when we send an email to hi@recoupable.com, hi, when is your office open? If I send an outbound, or let's actually tie it into what we have here. If I send a reply here, how would I follow up to this? Give me specific post links and your referencing. If you send an email, it replies to you. Now it's only going to reply to whitelisted emails until we get out of sandbox mode in AWS, but it's been built. At this point, we are in waiting for human level approvals within the AWS ecosystem. They said 24 hours, it's been 72 hours, and they still haven't approved us. So I don't know what to do to move it on. I think this task is complete because it does, well, let's see if it replied to me. I didn't even do this. Oh, did it finally come in? I don't know who this musician is.
That is
The Lion King. Something about the Lion King.
That is the featured artist, the other artist on the Lion King,
Interesting.
which I didn't give you.
So I did finally get the email. The redirect, I guess, eventually showed up. It just took a little bit longer than expected. I like the colors it pulled. Like the colors, I don't know how it's getting the colors that it uses, but we did get the response. There are still some edge case bugs here, but the email's working. Did I get the response? I still haven't gotten the response from me asking for specific posts. Did I send it to, I sent it to hi@recoupable. As long as all the rules I set up work, that this should also give me a reply. You got to wait a little bit for the LLM to do its stuff. So the 4 points inside of email client, activate AWS account, that one's done. Email receipt response, that's what I'm testing right now. It's more or less done. It's waiting for approval in AWS. Email tool in the chat, that's what we haven't demoed that yet. Send me this info in an email, sweetmintech@gmail.com. So this one should then send all this info to me in an email. So that's the tool inside of the chat. And then finally, Apify webhooks triggering email. We just saw Apify webhooks are triggering an email. So I finished that point. Do you think email receipt responses is done, or is that still where I should be focusing? Or I guess in your perspective on email client, let me wrap it up with what I'm working on now. So what I'm working on in this particular moment is sending an email whenever a text file is generated. Here's an example of that email. You can see again, it's trying to throw in Recoup logos where it doesn't have them. Hey, you just got a text file generated, and then you have a button to view the text file. And this opens up the text file on Arweave so that you can view the raw text file. And then you can continue the conversation, and this opens up the specific conversation where you generated that text file. So when you generate a text file, you get a link that redirects you back to that text file so that if you forget about it, you have a reference to it inside of your email, and then it throws in its LLM stuff. So this is the last thing that I have on my current list. In your perspective, what is missing for me what is the most important thing that is still missing for email client to be a fully closed loop and shipped feature? And here's, oh yeah, so email response receipt. I sent it an email and said, where'd you get this stuff? Or maybe this actually is likely from me asking if it can send me an email. Yeah, this is actually from it saying send an email. So this is that sending an email. I actually don't think I got the response to what I said here. So maybe I need to go back and look at that. I think most of these bugs are related to AWS SES, but in your perspective, what is missing for email client to be done so that I can move on to Wave Zero? What else is missing from email clients?
How do I test it? Because the last I left off, I was not receiving emails. So I can go to the client. Is all this shipped
It's
in
shipped in
production? Can
prod.
I
Yeah,
go and
yeah.
say
I
send me?
mean, you got the email. We see here the message was delivered to Sydney@recoupable.com. So the question is on your side as to
But
why
if
they're
I
not showing up in your inbox, but Gmail is telling me you received the email. So if you want to test it, I recommend use any other email because for some reason you're not seeing emails that are showing up in your inbox.
but can I use other email? I thought it's only for. Oh, I guess if I use another email, I just where's the blocker where it has to be a
If you send
recoupable.com
an email to
email?
hi@recoupable.com.
It has to
Actually,
be
and I
okay.
just
And then
got that
that's okay.
reply.
So
So
that's
here's it took a while, but it finally gave me the reply. Thanks for reaching out regarding the request. Thanks for inquiring about the Instagram post we referenced in the previous email about Danny Murrow's recent activity. We understand you're looking. Our automated system detected significant engagement for the post. So it's not the most robust email, but it did eventually reply. This is the only one that you can't
yeah.
access.
Gotcha.
You can scrape new Instagram posts. You can tell it to explicitly send you an email. And in a couple seconds, you can tell it to generate a text file. But for now, you can either scrape Instagram posts or explicitly tell chat to send you an email. Just make sure you're not using your Sydney@recoupable.com because for some reason you're not seeing any emails sent there.
All right. Question for you. Where can you jump into the code base and show me where the scripts are? If I want to mess around with the prompts and the style guidelines, it would be handle API webhook is for the API. That's the scraping, specifically for Instagram scraping
Correct.
emails. Okay, so that's the handle.
Specifically send Apify webhook email has the prompts,
Send Apify
Yeah.
webhook email.
which is called inside of handle Apify webhook.
And then in here, this is the prompt. Is this also include the style guidelines, or is it just randomly coming up with the style guidelines?
This is everything I've given it. There's no other things outside of this file. So this is all the style
Got it.
that I've given it. I tried using prompting to get better results, and I found anytime I tried to vibe code an improvement, the emails got worse. I think the styling right now looks beautiful. And anytime I tried to improve it with vibe coding, it made it worse when it had more text. But give it a shot.
Yeah, I'll separate the branch and just mess around, like just like really just go crazy on the prompting and the styling. Because like there's a part of me that really loves that it's so versatile and not branded, because that's just so like there's something so agentic and fresh about that, where like it's gonna get better. And if we ever add to this feature where like it literally can start to A/B test and has access to like open rates, and then can start to test colors and craft itself around open rates, like that makes it really interesting. The other side of me is like the trust factor of the brandability. So I'm just going to play around with the styling and probably not end up shipping anything, but just to get more in the weeds of the code, and then the prompting as well. So that's the Apify. And then what about the text file?
Text file is generate text file email.
Because my only thought on this one, well, not my only thought, but like would be to display the text file in HTML so it's prettier. It's not just like the text file look,
Right now we're not showing the text file. We're just including a button to view it, and it's summarizing the contents of the text file. So yes, if you would like to display the
okay.
text
So it
file,
already
you can update the
summarizes it.
prompt to actually display the text file.
This is so fire, Sweets. What a fucking crazy feature.
Which aspect of email client is most valuable to your imagination of email client? Apify, emails, text file, emails, the tool so that anytime I say send an email, it does it. Or I think those are the three. Or replying to sending an email directly to hi@recoupable.com.
So the first
Apify?
one, yeah, or the concept of Apify, like just that idea of just automated feedback loops when other people are using the product. If you have a similar artist, you're getting and you're getting emails and updates. Like that's a huge to talk about going back to like what our goals of this month or this quarter is retention, and like that is a feature that specifically drives retention, a huge auto retention loop. The more people that use the email feature, not even the email feature, the more people that use scraping on Instagram. So it's like almost like that specific feature requires Instagram scraping, but if we can figure out other funnels to use that same trigger, then that's a crazy flywheel.
So Apify, you're finding is adding the most value because it directly ties into reactivating existing but potentially stale accounts.
Correct. Yeah, the second one that I'm most excited about, because I think it has the potential to be the craziest demo, is sending emails specifically from the chat in the middle of a conversation. It's just tweaking that to get it right. Is like the blocker there, but like that's the step that everybody is missing in all agents right now. Is okay, thank you for all of this information. Now go contact everybody for me. Like, go do the work that I'm about to go do. So find me all these influencers for my artists that'll work on Instagram. Okay, cool. Now find their email addresses.
And
okay,
doing
cool.
that from email instead of the web UI? And you're talking about doing this from email instead of from the web UI?
No, I'm talking about from the web UI, like in the middle of the conversation, being like, okay, go
I
email.
Misunderstood. I thought you had said the second most important was sending an email to hi@recoupable.com. You're saying no, that's not true. The tool call is the second most valuable outside of Apify. Oh,
correct.
Interesting. Why?
Because it allows the user because it allows the user to, because it does what the user is going to do off platform. Like it allows users to stay in platform or continue their workflow, but do the work for them. Right. And we just have to get it right. Like the fact that you can email one person means that we can add to it where, for example, scrape all the emails from this artist's fans. Now email all of them and tell them that a song's coming out on this Friday. Like just being able to do that in the same conversation is fucking incredible.
Yes. Get my social profiles and send it to my manager, sweetmantech@gmail.com. And this will change, like you're saying, this chaining things together and having it just work.
Yeah, I think like the next step of this is multiple emails, like it capturing emails and then going and doing it.
It should be able to do that right now.
Does
Like
that
if
make
I,
sense?
well, yeah, if I send it to my managers, Sweetman and Sid, you're saying?
No, say find me all of the email addresses for brand partnerships that will work with my artist.
Then what? That has nothing to do with the email feature. So what?
No, because I'm saying like once we get the email addresses, then the prompt is, okay, now email everybody to set up a brand partnership. Oh, you're saying doing it in the same.
Like that?
Yeah. Bruh. If this works.
Anything else that you'd like to discuss, or is this how we'll wrap up the call?
We can wrap up here. This is fucking
Let's see if it
crazy,
works.
bro.
Disney emails, corporate partnerships at Disney, Disney music contacts, concerts at Disney, U Music, Nickelodeon, maybe.
Can we send it? Can we send a bulk email to all of these? And the question would be, what is it the same email? Well, I mean, let's just try it. Let's see what happens.
So far I had to send the initial prompt. I had to tell it to use tools so that it could find the emails. And then I had to tell it to proceed with sending. It sent one single tool to the entire list of emails. So all of those emails should have just gotten an email
From Hyatt Recuperable. Can we see what it sent? Like what the email was?
I don't think it sent it to any of us. Yeah.
There's no way to look in the back end to see what the text was, or what the what the LLM call was.
I don't think I have that anywhere. Send another email to the same list and include my email. 2 emails from us today. Same list. It just does the bulk list. Should add my email to it. And it looks like it got all of them. Let's see if I got an email.
Sweets, if this works, this is the fucking best feature you've ever shipped in your life.
Let's refresh.
It should work. It says it did. Right?
Did it actually add my email to the list? I don't see my email in this list. You
Oh.
didn't. I might send another email in it. I think it included my email in the text of the email instead of CCing. You didn't understand.
Got it.
I want sweetmintech@gmail.com to receive the email you're sending, not be included in the email text. Do you understand the difference? You want to be a recipient of the email, not just mentioned in the email body. Yeah. Okay, one more try. They're getting 3 emails from us today.
One more. Fuck it. What happens if we get what happens if they are like, yeah, I want to do a partnership with this artist, and then they email back hi at Recoupable, like, yeah,
Then you'll
let's
see
do
it
a
inside of the
partnership.
shared@recoupable.com in Gmail. And if it's been activated, it'll also then continue the conversation with them if we're out of sandbox mode. Okay, so here's my partnership. It's been CC'd with all of those emails. Hello, I hope this email finds you well. I'm reaching out on behalf of Carmen Twilly, the iconic vocalist known for singing Circle of Life. Carmen continues to maintain strong relevance. We're interested in exploring brand partnership opportunities. Would you be available for a brief call to discuss the ideas? So it took a couple extra prompts, but it does work if you know how to prompt it.
Do you know how crazy this is?
Wrap us up with why is this valuable for musicians?
Bro, this is the hard work. This is going to save so many hours. This is fucking nuts. This literally goes back to find an audience segment that my fans are loving. You know, okay, cool. I'm also going on tour in Asia. Now go find me all of the brand partnerships that I'm going to hit on tour, email them to set up, you know, meet and greets. Like, I don't, there's so many fucking, like, it's a manager. This is what I would use like a human manager would take a day to do what you just did in 1 minute.
And they charge you a couple $1,000.
And now it's just, yes. And then if you think about it, what do you always say? Make it work, make it
work, make it right, make it awesome.
Yeah, so you made it work, bro. And now all it is going back and like tweaking the prompt to make sure that the email sounds like a human and is giving the right value. Like it's written like a manager and music industry jargon, making sure that it's collecting the right emails. Like, you know, if I were to go back, I'd be like, all right, cool. Don't just find me like the Disney corporate. Like, go search LinkedIn to find the human behind the email and get that. Like, so just tweaking like the logic of. But again, I think that's a question mark I have for you before we wrap up. It's one question, which is like, as because this tool is so open-ended, how would you start to think about tightening the prompting for specific tasks, tightening the you know, those handlebars of like when you know what I'm saying? Like in certain scenarios, if I would have done it differently, how would you teach the LLM to do it differently?
What's a specific differently that you would want to implement?
The specific differently is, instead of giving me the corporate email addresses, finding the human email addresses.
So in this case, the emails came from Perplexity Ask. So we're not talking at all about the feature I just built. We're talking about somehow tweaking Perplexity Ask or the core system prompt to better understand what you're saying. I personally don't think.
Yeah. No. Never mind. You just answered it. It just becomes then breaking these into more specific agent tasks, like outside of the wide feature, like you have your create artist agent, which like defines the tools that you want and defines the prompts, right? Like within them and how to use those tools. So it's just like identifying like these specific workflows that we can use like the general tools to like tweak. This is so cool, Sweets. This is so cool. I'm going to spend the next week trying to generate ROI with it. Like just see how can we set up a brand partnership? Can we set up a collaboration? Can we set up something? Oh, he's there. He's back. All right. I appreciate you staying on. I know it's been longer than usual. All right. You now see the power of Recoup Agent. Make sure you like and subscribe and come back on Friday when we do this all over again.